everyone, it's Cosmic, just checking in to give you a quick update of what's going on. Christy and I were supposed to record a new episode of Fangirl Hell about 2 weeks ago, but she got very ill and she's still recovering, but hopefully we can get you a new episode soon-ish. In the meantime, I've put together some never-before-heard clips for you guys. Most of them were cut from the episodes either for time constraints or because it was just a really off-topic tangent and it wasn't needed to understand the other things that we'd been discussing. Some of them actually come from the short conversations that Christy and I have just before we start an episode and just after we finish an episode. So I hope you guys enjoy, and hopefully we can get a new episode to you soon-ish, maybe? So sit back and enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, we can always edit this later, so if we, totally screw it up and want to do it again, we can.
Okay. So if you say something completely offensive or racial or something, just pause really quietly so it makes a smooth edit.
Why did you say that? When you said that, I snorted and literally, this is so disgusting, but snot came out of my nose.
Things like this I want to keep in the show, though.
It's recording, so you've got it.
It could be in the bloopers.
Oh, that was so disgusting.
I think the webcomics appeal to me more because it's very quick. It's, you don't have to sit there and stick with the whole story. It's just bam, you're in and out.
Well, I think you're a product of the television. Like they said back in the 90s that we were all going to have no sense of
patience?
Well, anything really. Man, I remember them saying, oh, they're not going to be able to speak. They're not going to be able to think. We're all just going to be vegetables. We're just going to, lay around and drool on ourselves.
I don't remember that at all.
You don't? No. I remember criticism very well.
See, I didn't really watch the news when I was a kid, so...
You're so uninformed.
I was more busy, doing arts and crafts projects or playing my Sega Genesis.
I was a Nintendo girl, so...
My cousin had a Nintendo, but I didn't... I grew up, actually, with an Atari. I didn't get a Sega Genesis until I was probably, 10 or so, I think. And then it was, a second-hand one.
Yeah.
So, and the Atari had been my dad's. So, I technically grew up more on an Atari, and then went to the Sega Genesis, so...
The first game station I got was the Super Nintendo, because before that I would play games on my computer, that worked through DOS, so it was really it was kind of like Atari games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll go to my grave saying I'm a Nintendo girl.
Mm.
I love my Mario and my Street Fighter, and I will always remember having to blow in those little caskets.
Oh gosh, yes. My sister and I used to, because my cousin's mom didn't work at the time, and both of my parents did, so my sister and I would go over to our cousin's house, after school or on the weekends and stuff when our parents were working, and we would just spend hours trying to, play Mario Brothers and Street Fighter and all this other stuff. Mortal Kombat.
Yes. Oh, who was your favorite character on Street Fighter, though?
I don't remember. Let me look them up. It's been so...
How do you not remember?
It's been so long since I have played it. Just give me a second. I get the two confused. I get Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat confused, so... Because to me, they were both just fighting games, so...
Oh my god, there's no such thing. It's just a fighting game.
I was a button.
Have you ever played Tekken?
I don't think so.
Tekken is amazing.
Okay, hold on. List of Street Fighter characters. Are they going to show me pictures, or are they just names? Oh, they're just names. I'm not going to remember them by their name.
Well, like Chun-Li.
Yeah.
She was my favorite.
Let's see.
What's the green dude's name? Look like the Hulk, but hairier. Him.
I don't know. I think I remember fighting a lot as, either Chun-Li or the one lady with the beret.
Oh, yeah, she was badass. But back in like Street Fighter 2, she wasn't in there.
And then occasionally with like some of the guys, but there's pictures, but there's no names attached to them. I can't remember the one guy. I think I remember fighting as the guy in the white like karate looking outfit before.
Oh, Ryu.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the big one. I always played Chun-Li. She moves really fast.
See,
and I always play characters that can kick because I'm chicken shit and I don't want to get too close to punch you. So I'll back up as far as I can and just kick the shit out of your shins.
See, the problem was like it was me, my sister, and our cousin, and we're all three girls, so we were always like we all wanted to be Chun-Li, so like we got to her first, the next person had to settle or whatever was left over, and they were like, I don't want to be that person.
I was lucky enough to be the very spoiled only child, so I was like, it's my house, I get to be Chun-Li.
I was like looking at fonts last night for the logo title card thingy. I'm like, I'm officially on font overload.
I get that way pretty quick. I can't make it through like the A selection without just being like, I'm just gonna use Comic Sans. If anybody questions me on that, I'm just gonna say, well, I think it's underrated.
Comic Sans is awful. So is Papyrus. Every time I go by a business that used Papyrus on their sign, I die a little inside.
I'm surprised you're not all the way dead. With that, you're Benadryl.
I was watching this thing from, I guess it was like Comic-Con related Doctor Who panel thingy.
I've been like following all the Comic-Con stuff, but I haven't heard anything about Doctor Who.
Yeah, I was watching yesterday. They did like 4-hour live coverage on the G4 channel. So I watched most of that, not all of it, but yeah.
Ugh, if I knew that was on, I would probably have watched it.
They showed a rerun of the live stuff from yesterday. They showed a rerun of it this morning from like 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or something like that.
What did they show?
It was the same. It was the pre-recorded stuff from yesterday, which was live.
Did they show panels or something?
No, it wasn't panels. It was like, they like
their sideline reporter kind of bullshit.
A little bit like that, yeah. But I mean,
it's so stupid.
They brought on, they talked to people from, like shows and stuff that did panels, but they didn't actually show the panel. They just like talked to them, did like a little interview. They showed like some clips from like previews from like movies and TV shows and stuff. So
I guess that's not that bad.
Yeah,
I would rather watch the panels. I can't wait for one day when they just air the whole thing live.
Apparently, I read that for I don't think it would actually happen at Comic-Con. It maybe did, but they're supposed to do some sort of like reunion panel thing for Firefly.
Oh yeah, that was
they're supposed to film it and show it on the Discovery Channel or something, which is weird, but
really, I know there's a clip of it online so they did record it.
Yeah,
because apparently there's this one part where the creator is talking about it, starts to cry. I saw it on some blog like, "Oh, you excited about Firefly reunion? Watch him cry," and I was like, "No, thank you."
Yeah, I don't remember where I read it, but they're supposed to air it. I want to say either the Discovery Channel or the Discovery Science Channel, because I think the Science Channel for a while was actually showing reruns of Firefly. God knows why that's on the Science Channel, but
they don't know what to air anymore. But it's like, well, why watch it if they're not going to announce that they're going to be making another movie or something? Why sit and watch people say, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice if we could make another one? We can't. Okay, now let's cry." That's depressing.
They're gonna have like audience questions and stuff like that. People want to like reminisce about the show.
It sucks. They could at least launch another comic. Because they did a 2-volume comic of it that takes place after the movie so it can continue the story, and it got canceled. If it's popular enough to do a big reunion thing and air it on TV, do something.
Oh, I know, yeah. I mean, that show has like a major cult following. It's like the sci-fi version. As far as fandom, it's like the sci-fi version of My So-Called Life. They both were stupid series, and everybody was upset that it got canceled.
That's true. Yeah, it is kind of like that. It's like watching My So-Called Life in Space. There's so much drama.
Like an unsatisfying ending of the season.
Yeah. Well, I think they did that because they thought, okay, yeah, we can make a movie franchise out of it, and it just didn't work. And I don't know why we're talking about all this geeky stuff off air.
Well, I'm recording.
Oh, are you? Of course
Yeah,
you're.
I started like recording the second you came on.
Oh, wow, thank you. I feel like that's illegal, by the way.
We have an understood contract that these conversations will be recorded, so I think it's safe.
I think it needs to be understood that I understand nothing. And that to me is just one of those, socially constructed ideas that don't actually exist, because I mean, for me, I didn't grow up being super girly, but I had, Barbies and I had
Yeah.
My Little Ponies, but I had tons of like war stuff, and I had like the biggest fake arsenal of any kid I knew.
I would say my Hot Wheels collection rivaled my Barbie collection. And,
Yeah.
and I had one Ken doll whose arm got broken off right above the sofa. So, and not only did it, so I had like disability friendly Barbie collection. and I had so I had one Ken doll, and then I had a Bruce Lee action figure and a Rambo action figure that were about 5 inches shorter than all my Barbies, but they acted as stand-in Ken dolls a lot of times.
That's a whole other subject, but the fact that they would make dolls for guys that were so much shorter than the dolls for girls, that bugged me as a kid, and I didn't understand until I grew up and kind of got the concept of different, brandings and whatever.
Yeah.
There was like this old cartoon, this is a little bit off topic, but it was called Max Steel.
Okay.
And they created dolls that were the same size as Barbie.
Uh-huh.
And he came with guns. I like shit myself when those came out. I was like, oh my god, sweet. Because I had one Ken doll too, and his head came off. I took it off.
I had this toy plastic gun, but it looked like I wouldn't say it looked like a machine gun, because what I'm thinking of a machine gun looking like, it didn't look like that, but it was an automatic gun. So you basically held down the trigger and it made a noise.
Those are the best. Yeah, my Barbie had a handgun. I found in this little, because I live in California by where they did a lot of gold panning.
Yeah.
So my dad used to take me to like these touristy places, and of course, kids get bored, so they had lots of gumball, quarter machines.
Yeah.
One day I found one that had a little gun in it, and I just killed that game until I got the one with the gun, and I raced home and I was like, here you go, Barbie. You finally made it. You got it. But anyway, because it's not just.
Oh, hold on. Wait.
Did your fire alarm go off?
Yeah, I had an alarm set to remind me to come on to record the podcast, but we started early.
See? But at least you were being proactive about it. Okay, wait, since we're talking about Batman, I wasn't gonna mention this, but it is kind of funny. Did you see someone who was an extra in the last Batman movie with Bane?
I read that on Tumblr, yeah.
Okay, so here's what happened. There's this really epic scene in the last Batman movie where Bane is up in front of the citizens, and he's pretty much kidnapped all of Gotham, and he has them before him, and they're kind of waiting to see, like, well, what is this about? What is he going to do? Is he going to kill us? What's going on? And the director tells Tom Hardy, okay, we'll just freeball it, say whatever you want to say. We'll go off the script. So he's standing before all these people who are scared, they're waiting to see if they're gonna die.
Wait, in the actual movie, like, do they not? Well, I guess his mouth is covered, so they could easily just dub in lines, right?
Yeah,
that's what they ended up doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what he had to do anyway, because he did all the lines, and then people said, "Oh, we can't understand him because it's too muffled," so they had to go back and dub over it anyway.
Oh gosh.
And it was such a last minute dub that it came off so bad, and it was like, I made this analogy last night that it was like I was watching a Vietnamese drama. I remember when I was a kid watching Vietnamese dramas that were dubbed over in Cantonese, and it was just so horribly dubbed, and the audio was just like completely different. That's exactly what it was
That
like.
reminds me of this really, really obviously low budget movie called, was it Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter? But I'm pretty sure it's Canadian. I think but you can tell like they had to go back and dub over every single piece of dialogue, even sound effects. They dubbed over everything. It is so obvious.
It adds a little something, I think. Okay, so yeah, you have this scene where everybody's supposed to be horrified. He's standing up there, he's really scary looking with a face mask, and he just starts saying stuff like, "You need to wash your legs," and everyone's kind of like, "What did you just say?" Trying to be scared, and then he tries to take his pants off, and apparently that's the point where the director's like, "Okay, never mind. You're not allowed to go off script anymore." So it strikes me as a kind of like he was told go off script and he was like, "I don't know what to do. I'll just make him really regret it."
Maybe unclean legs and pantsless men are scary to him.
I was talking to Megan about this last night and she made a great joke, so let's cut this explanation out and I'll pretend this is mine. How about if he said, "You need to cut your hair. I know your dad."
What?
Come on, you don't know what that's from? That's an Eddie Izzard bit. That's an old Eddie Izzard
I'm
bit.
trying to think what leads up to it.
He's talking about birds. You know how Eddie Izzard is. Like,
oh yeah, okay. Like how the bird song is like territorial.
yeah.
And like so like when you hear Robin's like singing in some square, I don't know what he said, that they're really basically saying like F off out of my square, this is mine.
Yeah. And cut your hair. I know you're dead.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still waiting to get my invite to AO3.
Oh, you'll be waiting and waiting.
I think they said that my estimation date, I think, was like December 23rd or something. But
it's gonna be a good day for you.
No, not if the Mayans were right and the world ends.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. The Mayans were talking about a dispensation. It's the end of a dispensation.
Okay. What were we talking about?
TV shows?
Okay. What TV show were we talking about?
Peep Show?
Peep Show, okay. Okay, yeah. Have you seen any of the, like, because they used to have, like, a sketch comedy show called, well, there were, like, I think they had one, and then it went off air for a little while, and then they came back with another one. But there was, like, what was it, like, there was, like, that Mitchell and Webb something and something.
I think it was, like, the Mitchell and Webb look or something.
Yeah, but then there was another one, too. I don't remember what it was called. Have you ever seen any of those?
I saw...
Hello? I heard, I saw... And that was it, so.
Great. Well, take two. I saw some of them, but I didn't think they were that funny.
There was this one, like, I mostly, like, have seen clips of the skits on YouTube. There was this one that I thought was really funny. It was like a general store, like, in the 1800s. I guess 1800s, maybe not, maybe later than that. But like old-timey general store where, like, where they just sell a little of everything.
Yeah.
And I guess this guy comes in and I guess because back then, like, in the general stores, like, you could order clothing through them too, right?
Yeah.
I know this from watching.
Well, I think, couldn't you order just, like, cloth, and you had to get your slave of a wife to make something?
Well, yeah, you could order cloth, but you could also order, like, actually, like, made clothing. And I only know this from watching Avonlea when I was younger on the Disney Channel.
Okay.
Did you ever see that show?
No, not my type of show.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know of the show.
Oh my god, I loved that show when I was a kid. Me and my sister both. It was like our child soap opera, but it wasn't children. It was like a quote unquote family show that was a period drama, but it was I loved that show when I was a kid. Anyway,
Well, when I was a kid, I was watching Days of Our Lives, so I
yeah.
was busy with, other drama.
Yeah. I was more the period Canadian drama and you were the modern day soap opera drama. Anyway, so this guy comes in and he's asking, have you got the uniforms done? And he said, "Oh yes, we've come up with a concept that we really think you're going to like." And they pull it open. They pull it's covered up with a sheet. So he pulls the sheet off, and it's clearly like a Ku Klux Klan costume, right? And
Yeah.
the guy who ordered the costumes, he's like, "What is this? This is gonna make us look ridiculous." And he's like, "Well, no, this is great. This is gonna look fantastic." And so the shop owner's really trying to convince this guy to go with this uniform, and finally he convinces him, and the guy's like, "Oh, all right, give me 50 more something whatever." He orders a number of them, and he leaves. And then the girl, the shop girl who helps out, comes out, and they're talking, and the shop owner's like, basically they're agreeing that they're gonna make the racist people look ridiculous. They intentionally designed the costume to make them look ridiculous, which
I can see that now. Now that's if someone asks me, do you know how they originated those costumes? I'll be like, yeah, it was a joke.
yeah, it's much funnier than I'm describing it because I can't remember the exact lines that they say. But yeah, it's really funny, and a lot of people in the comments were like, "Why are they? This is racist. Why are they supporting the Ku Klux Klan?" It's like, you don't understand comedy at all, do you?
I think people just don't watch whole videos before they comment.
Yeah.
And I got all three of the Lord of the Rings movies for like $4 each, again in Blu-ray, and I had them in DVD before, but
I saw two of those movies,
yeah.
The Lord of the Rings, and I just want to kill myself throughout each of them.
Really? Here's the I haven't actually seen any of them all the way through.
But you're buying them?
Yeah, I want to watch them eventually.
Ugh, save yourself the trouble.
I've seen part of the first one, part of the second, and part of the third, but I've never seen them all the way through.
You are not missing anything. I mean, but Korea is weird. We talk about how homophobic they are, and yet they have this really weird culture, and where they allow things that even we wouldn't in the West. Like you have Harisu and the group Lady. I can't imagine us having a mainstream Britney Spears figure who had transitioned. Yeah, who transitioned to be a female from male. They would just be seen as a huge joke and just be made fun of all the time here. And yet Harisu is taken seriously in Korea, and she has a successful career.
And they're really I was surprised how popular the musical, the Hedwig musical, is in South Korea.
Yeah.
It's super popular there.
I was talking to someone back in the day, when Cyworld was a thing.
Yeah.
It was the Korean Facebook.
Yeah.
I still think of it as bigger than Facebook, but it's because I was into it. I was talking to, different people in Korea, and I talked to this one girl. We specifically talked about sexuality and gender and how it was different between our two countries, and I asked her about that. I said, you guys tend to really be homophobic as a culture, but you're really open about transgender people. You're really accepting of them. And we don't have that acceptance yet in the West, and yet we see ourselves as so progressive when it comes to homosexuality. And she said that she didn't really understand it herself, but from what she understood from her culture and what she observed, the Korean people tend to have a what you see is what you get kind of reaction to people. So if you say, "Oh, I'm a guy who likes guys," that's, that goes against the norm, that's confusing, I don't understand. But if you say, I'm a guy who wants to be a girl and then becomes a girl and we see that you're a girl, okay, we get that, we can understand that, you're a girl now.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can understand that yeah. It's odd, but I can understand where they're coming from with that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that's always confused me, the discrepancy of, how the West feels like it's so progressive as opposed to the East when, we talk about, oh, did you see they actually talked about homosexuality, and yet they
Yeah.
have mainstream transgender
And
celebrities.
they also have that thing where like if you can like fake pretend to be gay like with the fan service and stuff, but then if
Yeah.
you actually said you were gay, it would be this horrible taboo.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's fake and it's pretend and they understand that it's fake and pretend, it's fine. I always thought that was kind of confusing and odd.
Yeah, I've talked to people about it, and I've heard people talk about it, and it's like this, you can go really, really far with the fan service in Asian countries because it's not even a question of homosexuality, because it's so taboo, homosexuality, that
Yeah.
it doesn't even come to mind. So when you have, these boy bands, when the guys are even literally kissing or humping each other, it's taken without consideration, oh, this is a joke, this is just playing. It's funny because it's not true. And it
Yeah.
never comes to mind that it might be gay. Whereas we're so suspicious of of people's intention and sexuality
Yeah.
and gender issues in the West that if anything's just a little bit out of line, we automatically like, is this gay? Is this really gay?
Yeah, that's I think like granted this is very based on what Western society sees as a stereotype of a gay person, a
Yeah.
gay male more specifically, but there are certain male Korean idols that Western fans are absolutely convinced 100% that there is no way that idol is straight. One in particular is Jokwon from 2AM.
Uh-huh.
Do you know Jokwon?
I've heard about this, yeah.
He's very like flamboyant, very flamboyant. But granted, that could be a persona that he's putting on. I mean, behind closed doors, he may not be that flamboyant, but
Yeah.
he's so flamboyant and out there that like people are convinced like that there is no way he's straight, that he's got to at the very least be bisexual. Like so many people are just convinced of that. And it's like, well, but you're basing that entirely on Western stereotypes of what, a flamboyant gay man is going to be like. And, the stereotype of what a gay, again, this is stereotypes, you shouldn't base your entire opinion on that, but the stereotype of what, a gay person is like in South Korea could be totally different. To the point where they would never in a million years assume that even if they were, even if it would occur to them that someone might be gay, they wouldn't pick the same person out that somebody from the West would.
Well, I think there's also the threshold for femininity
Yeah.
is completely different.
Oh yeah.
Here, if a guy acts the least amount of feminine, yeah. I mean, if he says, I don't think pink is that bad of a color, people are like, oh, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay. But it's a completely different threshold over there.
Yeah. And then you have the whole like skinship thing.
Yeah.
Where like people of either gender who are like really, close friends, they like hang all on top of each other like it's no big deal. Whereas
but that's like a whole concept as Westerners we don't really get.
Yeah, because
that's like a completely different thing. We don't have skinship.
Here, like, if two guys went walking down the street like linked arms or holding hands or something, you'd be like, oh, they're a couple, obviously. But
okay. It strikes me that people probably don't know what skinship is, so why don't you explain it?
I thought I did. Like, when people are
I mean, there's stages, it's like calling someone by their first name or surname. I mean, that's something we get in the West, but this is like an Eastern version of that.
It's like a physical intimacy, practically. I mean, it's like you're close enough to someone that you're allowed to invade their personal bubble.
Yeah.
So, you can, put your arm around them, and like you're just, standing talking, and you've got your arm around their neck leaning on them, and it's like that you're allowed to do that because you're close, and, or you can hold their hand regardless of what gender you are, and that's just a sign of friendship, like stuff like that. From my understanding of
It's also, if you liken it to like the name,
yeah.
it's an indicator to other people what your relationship is.
Yeah.
Because in our society, if you see someone refer to someone as Mr. or Ms. or Miss, you know, okay, they're not that close, or the person they're introducing them to is new. Whereas to say, oh, this is Sam, my friend Sam, or a pet name, it indicates to you a level of intimacy they have. That's just another aspect of it. So if you see someone holding hands, to us it indicates a romantic relationship, but to them it indicates, oh, they're close enough
that
they can allow that.
Yeah. Yeah. What were we talking about before we got onto skinship?
Gay music videos.
Oh no, we were talking about like the difference between like what someone in an East Asian society, what they would perceive as gay, and what somebody in the West would perceive as gay, and then that's how we got onto skinship. But yeah, like I just think, I mean, even I have to fight the urge to think certain idols may be gay, because I know that different societies behave differently, and so I can't base that on a Western idea or a Western stereotype. But
well, you also have to factor in how much these companies pressure these boys to act.
Yeah.
What we would call homosexual, but they would call, fan service.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a different of culture, and also how much of this is a persona you're putting on, and how much is it you're being manipulated to do it.
Yeah. I still think though that Jo Kwon would make a fantastic drag queen. Whether he's gay or not. He would be a fantastic drag queen. As would Lee Hyuk from Wiretap in My Ear.
I think. Well, can you say he's not one though?
That's true.
he does. I mean, he does drag professionally sometimes.
Yeah, that's very true.